is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, I got Robert and Sakura. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Finally, Lucas. Finally, we have a weekend we can talk about. Finally.
Where do you want to begin?
We can start with Friday night's event. Navarete.
Man, what a fight. I was not really expecting that. I don't know why. I mean, I saw Navarete been able to just dominate that fight, and that did not happen. He had to fight in there. Was that him fighting down, or was that Wilson fighting up, or is that not Wilson who we thought he was?
There's a combination of all of the above in that one, but Wilson came to fight, and Bradley and them knew it. Andre Ward and them guys knew it. They smelled the upset before this thing even started. They did. They smelled the upset before it started. Wilson bought it, y'all. He really did. He bought it. He bought his A game. The problem with him, I think, is that he's with the new camp. So, and he's young. Two things. He's very young, very fresh. He's only 11, 12 fights now. So he's very young. And he started a new camp in a foreign land to him because he came over from the UK. So he started his new camp in Washington, D.C. with Barry Hunter. And that kind of got in the way towards the middle of the fight when Hunter was giving him the right direction in the corner, and Wilson was not listening to him. He was not listening to what the corner was saying, kind of ignoring the hints and the advice that they were giving him in the corner. And I think, honestly, that's what led to him losing that fight. But Wilson bought it.
That he did. Didn't I hear something about Wilson appealing this?
So that's some bullshit. But I was gonna try to get to that in a little bit later down the line.
Just smiling. He didn't even have nothing to say yet. He was just smiling.
I was waiting for it.
Why are we waiting for it? I mean, we're talking about it now. I mean, we're talking about the fight.
So his beef or argument in the fight is that he had knocked down Navarete first, okay? There was 2 knockdowns in the fight. Well, ultimately 3. One for Wilson. Wilson got the first one, okay? He did. And he stunned him. He stunned Navarete and hurt him bad with a clean shot. It was a great punch. Navarete got up, beat the 8 count, even stood a little bit for most of the, maybe part of the 8 count. And then the mouthpiece was out. Okay. So,
you see 3 traditional markets listed for a game. The spread.
All right. So the mouthpiece was out. So because the mouthpiece was out, the referee stopped the action, let him put the mouthpiece in. Yeah, he was kind of fumbling with the mouthpiece, put it in the mouth wrong or whatever the case may be. He was stalling for time. It was a little veteran tactic in there. But for Wilson to sit there and say that that's why he lost the fight is bullshit, okay? You got to man up and realize that you didn't fight the full 12 rounds. It was a title fight. It was a 12-round bout. You gotta be prepared to fight for 12 rounds. And he wasn't ready for 12, Shakur.
Oh man, where are you coming from, Sakura? Because I know exactly where Robert's coming from. He let us know.
Yeah, he already put in an early rant right away. It's what I've been saying about because we don't know these opponents don't mean that they don't have any value. It doesn't mean that they're not better than what we think they should be. I feel like if he'd have just been at Headbangers like another 3 to 6 months, he would have been ready for a 12th round, right? He would have been ready for a 14-rounder or a 15-rounder like back in the day. So I'm just feeling like it was the circumstances of the fight and doing all that extra travel. It might have put him off on his camp because they did mention the fact that he, had to go back over to England, kind of like in while he was in camp in DC, and just to get this visa situated. So, I mean, I know there were some things at play, but even with that, I got to give the man some credit. He deserves our kudos because he came to fight. He didn't look like he was scared of Navarete at any point in the fight. And he did drop him. He's done more than some of Navarete's past opponents at lower weight divisions. We also have to remember on the flip side that it was Navarete's first showing at super featherweight. So, it could have been a little bit of that involved too. But the commentating, they were doing their job on this fight because they weren't being as one-sided as they often seem to be. But they brought up a great point, which is that Navarete don't be taking, his camps and his weight seriously. In between camps, he like to blow up, and then it's basically the whole training camp. You're just trying to lose all this extra damn weight you put on, and you're not really preparing. So I definitely want to see Wilson again in some capacity. I would like to see him in another fight, and I'm sure that Navarete is going to have those lingering thoughts about how he looked in that fight and how he got dropped and things like that. And maybe he will tighten up a little bit, which leads us to, can he do anything with somebody as skilled as Valdez? Like, once we see him looking like this, I mean, he got me kind of wondering what kind of fight is really going to be happening there.
So that's... Oh, go ahead, Louis.
No, go ahead, Rob.
That's the capper to me, okay? Because all being said about Wilson and the camp or whatnot, Navarete had his issues in camp too. Because this was supposed to be Oscar Valdez. Valdez pulled out. So he really had an unknown opponent sitting in front of him in an unknown weight class. He's never been at this weight class before. He's been a champion in other divisions, other weight classes. But this is the one that counts. This is the weight that counts, according to Rob. So this was his first time in a true weight class that counts, in a title fight against a contender that he knows little to nothing about, who's hungry and took the fight serious. That's what showed the weight of the worth in Navarete to me. That's Tim Bradley and them talking, because Tim's a gym rat. Tim's a gym rat, studied the game his whole life. Some guys are just naturally talented because they have something in them that others don't. And that's what Navarete proved in this fight. He has the heart. He has the heart to get up off the canvas and say, no, sir, not today. You're not taking this one from me. And you know what? Kudos to him for that. Because them other greats that people mentioned in the past don't do it. I'm talking Chocolatito gets up there, he doesn't do it. Other people get up there, they lose the fight, they don't do it. Give credit to Navarete. He did exactly what I want to see in fighters today. That's move up to the big boy weights, win these fights, win these titles. Don't lose. Don't make no excuses. Don't get dropped and never come back to be seen again.
I mean, I definitely agree with a lot of what both of you said. For me, Navarete, I see both sides because Wilson fought a good fight. Navarete was able to get up and, keep on fighting. And that's exactly, like you said, what you want to see in a champion. So I see both sides there. But I want you guys, and let's try to think about it like promotion-wise. Would you actually do and go through with the appeal if you're Wilson's side? Because this is kind of giving you a black eye now, right? Like, everybody was like, you had a good fight, But now all they're going to be talking about is the appeal, not you anymore. It's more about you kind of crying. You know what I mean? Or do you guys disagree? It's taken away from the good fight he had, even though he lost.
Exactly.
I think he gained some fans with this fight, and then you just shot him all away with that appeal. That's just me.
Exactly, and they didn't just appeal it. He said that after the fight, in the after fight interview, that he felt that he should have won already, and that he even admitted that kind of distracted him, which is bad on his part. Like I sat here and said, you prepare yourself to go 12 rounds, do it. Don't make excuses. Don't get caught up in anything. And he really lost the fight because his corner will tell you. He stopped listening to the corner, Lucas. The corner will tell you that.
Okay.
Shakira?
I just feel like, there are circumstances where, the in-house fighter, they're going to get a little bit more leeway and things. And sometimes things are like pretty much set up for them to win in a situation where they needed like a little couple of more seconds to recover. It did kind of seem like he was getting them seconds and then some. Now, whether or not that is on the fault of the referee or the commission, that's where I take, I take some, I don't really take that part of it. I feel like, he's a veteran, so he knew how to take that piece out of his mouth or put it back in. Yeah, he knew how to, have the mouthpiece come out, how to put it in backwards, how to make his, training team take as long as they can. Like, this is a part of boxing. You could set some type of cultural change by doing, an official, I don't agree with this. But at the end of the day, it's kind of a situation where, he was able to be able to regain himself, Navarete, before he could finish him. So he's going to be pissed off about it, But at the same time, I feel like he got caught looking at his own work. I mean, he was just standing right there in the pocket. He's looking like, damn, I just did that. Like, you cannot get enamored with your own work. And I feel like he was a victim of that in that exchange that ended the fight. He was just like standing back looking at like the damage. You can't do that. Like, so he kind of caused that to happen himself. And also he had started getting hit with a lot of good punches at one. So it's a situation where it could be or it couldn't be, some type of brain, like concussion, like not nothing serious, but when you concussed and stuff start moving slower for you and stuff, he might have been suffering for that. But I personally didn't feel like that was the case. I felt like he just, decided right then and there, I'm gonna just stand back and look at what I just did. and that's not gonna work. So I'm not opposed to him. I don't feel no way different about him from doing that particular, complaint. I don't. A referee can say, hey, move it on along. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, come on. Like, is he going to have this mouthpiece or not? Because I can make him keep going. Yeah. So stop the shenanigans. That they can do. But it's the veteran boxer's job to try to, like, gain some more time. Hello?
Definitely. And that's a good point. So, he's getting away with it. So it is the ref, right? So it's the ref's job to try to hurry him along. If he's not doing that, then he has a reason to appeal. I'm not saying it's not a reason. The problem is I think it's taken away from what he did.
Because let's face it, Navarete was still not recovered for almost a round and a half. It took him the whole next round to recover, and Wilson didn't do anything in that round to combat him at all. And in fact, Wilson was letting him continue to throw haymakers and looping wild shots at him that whole next round and not making him pay. And that's what the corner got pissed off about. And he stopped all pressure at that point. Navarete, the pressure was on Navarete, and he answered. But Wilson never answered back.
Let's see, Ralphie says you got to look for the knockdown when he held down one hand, then hit him while his hands was already touching ground. Sometime ref will take point for that. I agree, and I did notice that, but I didn't think he was mentioning that in any appeal or anything. I mean, that would have been actually more for me. You know what I mean? Don't complain about the count, but that's even more of a reason.
Yeah. And some people are trying to say, there was some shenanigans in that drop and all this kind of stuff. I mean, for me, Navarete he's been a bully. But the more you move up in these divisions, you gonna stop being the bully. You're gonna start getting bullied. So this is the reason why I'm interested in this Valdez fight between him and Navarete and
Corey, yeah, let's talk about that. Let me know your opinion on that fight.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just thinking that it's going to be a situation where you got a Berchelt type boxer standing in front of Valdez. To me, it's a very similar type of puncher versus, puncher boxer scenario. So I think it's lots of opportunities with those looping hooks that Navarete likes to throw for Valdez to really capitalize on. I feel that. And we've seen what happened to Berchelt when he was trying to trade with just pure power against somebody like Valdez. He's also got a lot to prove, if you think about it, being that he had such a poor showing against Shakur. This is the fight where he has to come back from that loss, and he has to prove that he is in a division that he deserves to be, and that Shakur was just that type of phenom type of boxer that nobody's going to look good against. So in order to do that, he has to get rid of Navarete. He's got to. So that's what makes this interesting to me.
Which one of those do you think it is?
Which one? What do you mean?
You said I'm lost now too. You said a couple of different scenarios, but of what it could be with Valdez. So what would you think happened in this fight? Do you think Valdez would be able to pull it off or no? Because you kind of lean both ways. I want to get more of a narrow down on who you really going in for. You're trying to stir fire. I'm trying to get you to pick a side here.
You're trying to get me to make a early prediction.
Early prediction. I mean, yeah, it is tad early, but I mean, this is a good topic. So.
To me, I saw a lot of flaws that Wilson was able to really show the fans this past weekend. So I have to lean towards a Valdez. I know he's more skilled than that of Navarete. And not just more skilled, he's very awkward and he's off balance a lot. It's something about that I don't find appealing with him. So I have to go with the slicker boxer of the two, and that's Valdez.
Rob, you leaning towards Valdez too? I mean, let's
this is my topic right here, baby. This is my bread and butter. Because this is
it's hard for me. This one's really hard for me because I do see some things that Navarete could cause, maybe some stylistic issues, and also is Valdez going to be able to continue where he's at and get back to normal? I think it's and this is one of the scenarios we were talking about. Was it Shakur Stevenson being such a phenom? I think it definitely was.
Absolutely, but Shakur's gone now. And in fact, this title that Navarete just won was vacated by Shakur.
Right.
So this is Valdez's second shot at it.
And this is why we don't know, because again, it's vacated. I hate seeing vacated belts. I always want to see champion versus champion.
Well, Shakur is moving up. You can't fault him for wanting to move up.
No, I don't. Not at all.
But
I appreciate that. It's just I hate seeing for the vacated belts. I just hate it.
Well, I mean, it's not about it being vacated to me. It's just about the style against Navarete style. Like, I don't think that it's in favor of the puncher. And it's for the same reasons that Rochelle ended up getting knocked completely out against Valdez. It's the same exact stylistic matchup. So that's what I'm thinking.
And Shakur is a master class boxer, probably one of the best in the world. We could just go ahead and say it. So that stylistic matchup was horrible for Valdez anyway. So it's not the fact that, like Shakur is saying, that he looked bad in that fight. He's a bad fighter. It's the fact that he was going up against a much better boxer,
right,
whose style clashed in such a way that he was able to make the fight look easy. Right. However, I don't want to throw you off on what I'm about to say, though, Lucas, because what I think is going to happen is this. This is my bread and butter topic, okay? Because this is when the weight classes count. This is where they start at 130. I'm gonna keep reiterating that throughout the night. So I actually favor Navarete right now because to me he's a pound for pound great because he already proved. Now Ralphie had mentioned in his previous comment that he feels like Navarete needs one more bout before Oscar. Well, he was supposed to take on Oscar for the title in this bout. And to me, he showed he was ready. And he showed us all that. He showed he could go through the adversity. Navarete hadn't been knocked down in his career before this fight. He finally came off the canvas and showed us what he can do from that. I think he's a real deal. I think he's a pound for pound fighter. And Valdez has too many bumps in the road. Even though the style clashes for Valdez, Navarete to me is just a strong opponent. I think he'll be able to outwill Oscar Valdez in that fight. I favor Navarete right now.
Okay. Javi, we're kind of talking a little bit about Navarete versus Valdez possibility fight. And just some early predictions and going over who we currently favor.
Okay, so first of all, I love when my man Robert talks about 135ers and unders. You know, I think I came in
that's where it counts. That's where it counts.
So what? What's the exception?
You missed my rant. You missed my rant. Okay. I said Navarete is in my heart now is a pound for pound fighter because he's finally at a real weight class and proving what he can do.
I mean, he did have problems that day, so maybe being with the big boys up there might be a problem. And I going to side with Valdez. You know, he has a lot more to prove. I feel like Navarete has a bunch of flaws that he got away with at the lower class, and his power and his output has carried him out. But I feel like somebody with the boxing pedigree as Valdez will be able to get his timing down. And, I think Valdez is going to get caught a few times, but eventually, the pedigree, the amateur experience is going to prevail. And I think Valdez will probably outpoint him. I don't think he's going to get stopped, though. Now, this is the plot twist. I think Valdez got this on a decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets caught and Navarete stop him. I get a late stoppage by Navarete. Because sometimes Valdez he throws away his boxing skills and he decides to go blow for blow. And if that's the case, that's Navarete turf.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Navarete gets hit too much as it is, and Valdez hitting you is going to be a little bit different than Wilson. I mean, clearly. So,
And you saw what happened to Berchel. Everybody thought Berchel was gonna walk through Valdez, and that wasn't the case.
no, you don't usually walk through Valdez. So,
Javi's on my side.
say what?
Said Javi's on my side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to go Valdez too, Rob. You're the only one to pick Navarete, right?
Oh yeah,
This don't count yet or anything. I'm just making sure for
And once again, I'm gonna be right and throw that in y'all faces when that happens.
Yeah, it's totally silent when it's not right.
I mean, when you pick them, Rob. But
But he be
sometimes,
ghosting us when he wrong though. He'll ghost us.
oh
quick.
yeah. All right, let's turn to women's boxing, who's already gotten off to a really good start, picking up where the men are slacking. But I'm not going to talk this weekend because we had Navarete, so it was a good fight. It was good on both sides. But let's talk to ladies now.
Okay.
Let's talk Baumgardner, because honestly, I was not able to watch that one. I came in late, so I only caught the Serrano fight on that. How did Baumgardner look, guys? If you were trying to describe the fight to me, how did she look?
She looked like she well, she always looks good, first of all. But she looked like she might have not taken her opponent as seriously as she did Michaela Mayers. I feel like in the training, maybe she didn't, train as hard and as long as she usually do, I feel. But the power is on display regardless. And that's what's so beautiful to see with her and the way she sets it up, and also we learned something about her chin, like, because she took some punches, and she didn't have any problems with that either. So I thought it was a beautiful win the way it was done, because it made it entertaining. More so entertaining had she really prepared to the level that I feel she went to prepare for Michaela Mayers.
Rob,
I mean,
agree? Javi?
I mean, you know what? I'm more impressed with the fact that she just had a very tough, close fight that to me could have went either way, and she coming off of that and went this route to get a fight right away to start the new year for the undisputed title. So it's a very big deal. And like Shakur said, I thought that she didn't look her best in the bout, but the power was on display with the multiple knockdowns. And that itself won over the crowd to me. I think she won over the crowd with that. She earned the title, of course. It wasn't her best showing out there in a matchup that really fit her style, really fit her to a T. So she could have gone for a knockout or maybe even won in a bigger fashion. But I thought she did a great job winning over the crowd, keeping the power going, and she got the victory. She undisputed champ. That's what matters.
Yeah.
That's definitely what matters. Who would you guys like to see her up against next if you had your pick in there?
Well, the girl Choi is the one that vacated the title before getting to her. So she's still out there as a possible opponent. Michaela Mayers had posted today that she saw her on a Netflix reality show, Choi. So she's like, how's she on a reality show but don't want to defend this belt? So there was some comments where people were just like, yeah, she was running from, Baumgardner. She didn't want to. They were like, had that opponent been her, she would have got knocked out. All these kind of comments. So I still kind of want to see that matchup, since she was the belt holder. And then there's also the Michaela Mayers match, rematch. To me, is everything. I like that fight for them, for those two women again. And I also think it's a moneymaker type of fight. And then she brought up today possibly the winner of Taylor versus Serrano. And I'm like, whew, okay.
And she said she can go down for that. She said she would go down to 126 for that. Is what she trying to say. But
she wants the smoke. That's what she said. When she said she's gonna go down and wait. Look, she said, I want that smoke.
Baumgardner, you owe my girl a rematch. Period. Because you lost that first fight. I'ma say it. You lost the damn fight. You owe my girl the rematch.
Whatever.
Prove to us that you actually won.
I don't know. You might be alone on that one, Rob. I'm not.
Yeah,
she lost that fight.
Yeah, she did.
Which one? Amanda Taylor?
No, we're talking Baumgardner. We're talking her and Michaela.
That she lost that fight?
She lost that first fight.
She lost the fight.
She lost that damn fight.
Yeah, you're on your own on that one, brother.
I thought so. I didn't know, but I was just checking. No, I mean, some people had it close, and I did see some people complaining. But I didn't know you were that way, Rob. I didn't remember that. You said she lost that first fight.
Michaela, you know that's my girlfriend. Hi, baby.
Love you. That's it right there.
I mean, you just explained now. I understand.
Right
I can see it now. I can see it now why you saw her winning.
Yeah.
But anybody with two good eyes.
People find it controversial is because of the commentating that night.
Man, Ray Charles could have called that fight, okay? Michaela won.
Whatever.
Listen, I talking about commentary. I was talking about what about that fight with Pedraza and Barboza? I felt like the commentary went from narrating what was being seen at the fight to like cheerleading for one's guy, and one guy wasn't getting no credit, and it's like when one guy was hitting somebody with a jab, it was like, oh my God, what a beautiful job, and then when the other guy was hitting back, it was like, oh, okay. No props, no nothing. And I was surprised.
They were too busy talking about, Barboza they were too busy talking in order to catch what Jose was doing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And
they were too busy bashing him while he was actually still fighting, and we didn't even know what the outcome was. They was already bashing him like he had just lost the fight, previously.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And it feels like they were trying to narrate a something like a story that was like, it's like, oh, this is the A guy, so we gotta make sure that he looked good. Even when the guy looked good, he looked sharp in there. He looked good, especially against Pedraza. It's not really that good to look good against Pedraza, but the fight was a lot more competitive than they were narrating. And then the scorecards, I'm like, man, this is like, it looks like it's one guy is supposed to be the A side and he's supposed to win, and everybody's going with it. The networks, the promoter, the judges, the referee, because there was even times when Barboza was complaining about certain thing, and the referee was like, oh yeah, hold on, and it's like, man, it felt like it was a Barboza night.
So
yeah. I mean, unfortunately, that's boxing. I hate seeing that shit. That's
it really caught my attention because I usually see that when it's like a more high profile fighters, more well-known fighters.
Oh no, it happens local. I mean, it happens at small level. I'm surprised you haven't seen it at this point, Javi.
I've seen it, but it's been a little more discreet. This was flat out there. Like, they wasn't even trying to like be low key about it. I'm like, damn. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. You know what disgusted me about that particular situation is just the fact that they had already admitted in the beginning, like, that Pedraza actually has fought better competition throughout his career. So, like, really and truly respect the man. Like, Don't start bashing him before the fight even start. Like the fight hadn't even started yet, and they was going in.
No,
I was like, damn.
I felt like this. I felt like we've seen Pedraza enough, especially on ESPN, that you know what he's going to bring to the table. You already know that. The issue is Barbosa was supposed to be a up-and-coming fighter that should be at an elite level. He's quoted as saying he should be fighting guys like Gervonta Tank Davis and stuff like that. He's the one that's saying that.
Thought he was gonna get the T.O. fight.
Or he wanted to fight T.O. Right. And he didn't look that good. It was a shitty performance, in my opinion. Because if you're elite, yeah, he looked good in there in spurts. But if you're gonna look that damn good, take the man out. Take him out. Or at least dominate him. Or at least dominate him to the point where you gotta at least the ref has to look at him a couple of times. No, Pedraza did what we expected him to do, and Barbosa just kind of complimented that. He just did a little bit over what Pedraza was able to do to win the fight. He didn't wow us or anything like that. So I think that's why, because they're sitting there, Pedraza's doing exactly what we know he's gonna do. He's not really gonna carry the fight. He's gonna be competitive. He can't hurt the guy. He really ain't supposed to be hurting the guy. The guy is in there, doing what he's supposed to do, and it was a boring fight. I'm sorry, but that was it to me.
It was a boring fight to me. I thought Pedraza let his hands go way more than what he usually does.
Yeah, I don't know about being a boring fight.
It didn't hurt nobody, Lucas. It didn't hurt nobody.
What you say?
Pedraza, he wasn't moving as much as he normally does, to be honest with you. He was standing in the pocket and exchanging.
Yeah, he caused a lot more action. It was not the regular Pedraza, that's for sure.
But because the styles makes fights, so sometimes you're gonna look good against a guy that his style maybe is more defensive, so your offense is gonna look better. And sometimes when the guy's more offensive and your defense is not, sharp, you're not gonna look that good. You're not always gonna look good. But I feel like I agree with Rob in the part where he said, they try to build Barbosa to be with the upper echelon of the guys. And I don't think he's ready for that, for the Teofimos, for the Mario Barrios, like those type of guys at 140. They're going to give him problems. You know what I'm saying? Because it's hard to look good against Pedraza. And it's kind of definitely hard to stop him. You know what I'm saying? That's why it was impressive when Tank did it. But at the same time, it's like Pedraza's like the Lomachenko. Pedraza's not really supposed to be at 140. He fights at 130, 135. You know what I'm saying? So then if you at least not hurting a guy like that, even though he did, there was a spot where Pedraza kind of wobbled. You're definitely not gonna be ready for the Teofimos, the pro grades, because that's a whole different level. And much as the commentary was cheerleading for him and being biased, you can hype this guy up. But what we saw, especially hardcore boxing fans, is like, he ain't ready for that. You can make him look like he's the next Mayweather on the commentary, but when he gets in there with the elite guys, it's gonna be a whole different story.
Right. What it does, Javi, is it sets him up to get hurt, ego-wise anyway. Ego. Because they got that big ego now, as you and I both know. He steps up to better competition, his ass will be flat.
Damn. I agree with Ralphie on this one. I believe it was like at least a draw. I saw a draw at least.
I wouldn't be mad if it would have been a draw. I wouldn't be mad. And that's why I was so disgusted with the scorecards, because they were too wide. And there was no way that it was that wide.
Yeah, it was nowhere close to like them gaps they had. Like, how many times we got to see this? It's like, damn, these judges, I don't know what was going on during the fights that had their attention, but
we
know. I be feeling like we fight. But we want those judges to be honest and truthful no matter who's promoting something, whose fighter is promoting. And when you get gaps that wide, it throws in your face like how you just is like, damn, this shit is set up.
Yep.
I mean, what would have been wrong with the commentators giving Jose Pedraza the respect and, the credit for when he was having great moments in the fight? Nothing, because it just makes your network look like you actually had a competitive fight on your screen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't understand this mindset where it's like, I have to kiss this, this boxer's ass because he's with the promoter, that I work for. I don't get that, because like the more competitive the fight is, and the more we're saying that it's, like it's a good fight and that it was a good solid matchup, blah blah blah, it's making it a better fight that you just put on for the fans. So that's my only gripe, is I'm just like, I don't understand the logic behind this.
Yeah, it ruins it, because a lot of people at home, we lose fans because of stuff like that. I mean, boxing's already corrupt as hell, and every time they turn it on, somebody's getting fucking robbed. So, why watch it? It's a big turnoff, and then you just, it's a never-ending circle, unfortunately. The sport's been regurgitating fans in the United States for a long time, and this is a reason. We're not in the Olympics, guys. We're not even being taken seriously as a sport anymore. Nobody's. Oh.
Pedraza, like, he's the one that should have filed a complaint.
Right? Complaints. Man.
I mean, but if I was Pedraza, like, it's like, you brought me in as the B-sider. You just gave me a draw with Comey, which I really, when I watched that fight that he had with Comey, I felt that he did enough to get the win on that one as well. But that ended up being a draw, right? Because they didn't want to decide which one of them would be able to fight some of their other staple mates. So they draw. That's how I feel on that one. So now you're gonna go and make it seem like I had an awful night, when, I mean, boxing records, they matter. That score, those judges' cards, they go on BoxRec. So when somebody years from now go back and see what kind of fighter he is, he's like, oh yeah, I see he's declining right now. At this particular year, this is when he must have started declining. When that was not the fight that you actually watched. It's just not right.
Yeah, and then you can have other people's, records basically bought and paid for, and silver spoon.
Not only that, but you definitely rob a man from cementing his legacy in the sport. You rob a man from, keeping that momentum when you winning. Sometimes you win, and then you win, and then you get robbed. Not everybody recovers mentally from a robbery like that, because it's like you put in the work, you won. You look at the tape over and over, and you're like, damn, like you feel like the whole system is against you. So you're not gonna go into your next fight with the same mentality, because now you feel like, then I have to fight this guy, the ref, the judges, the network, the promoter, the commentators. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It messes with your mind, and it drains you, because it's like, damn, not everybody's willing to, put in the extra work. And I feel like a lot of fighters, they come back after a robbery, they go and earn their shot. But some fighters just never come back. It really, some of them retire, some of them lose their momentum, they lose their winning streak, and then they kind of like, just they're never the same.
Right.
Yeah, but you know how the saying goes, Javi. Want to leave it out the judge's hands, score you a knockout.
Yeah, man.
Score you a knockout.
But not everybody's gonna drop when you hit them. Some people can take a good shot. Some people, once as you go up in competition, everybody's gonna be able to take your shot better, roll with the punches, and they're gonna give you more work, to the point where even with your power, you're not gonna be able to get them out of there. So that's when you have to make adjustments.
Right, and
I
they
was prepared.
already sketched him, Pedraza specifically. Like Javi was saying, he's really not a junior welterweight. He's not a 140-pounder fighter, but he's up there fighting because they have just thrown everybody at him. Like, here, you fight him now. Can you move up to 140? We need you to fight these guys now. Like, he's literally being stretched Like, he was never known for so much power, but when you really get out of your weight class and you really are like definitely, you know, starting to wander over into other higher weight classes you really shouldn't be in, you know, then you definitely not gonna have no power to knock out some of those real 140 pounders. So it's a situation where you're not gonna always knock out everybody because they're not, you know, they got good chins, as Javi was mentioning, but then also you could be stretched out of your weight class. I really feel like Pedraza needs to have a talk with his team and, you know, really find out, like, do we want to stay at 140? Because when you start getting draws, and then you got a draw, like you really got a draw, but you got a loss now, you know, it's kind of like time to reassess because it's only going to be tougher competition for him at 140. That, like, they're not gonna like decide all of a sudden like they just gonna give him like a slacker at 140. No, he got a great name, you know, so, and he got a great record. So when you look at the people he's fought, and I can have that guy on my record, these top guys are gonna want to have Pedraza. They're not gonna want to have, you know, somebody with a lesser record. So this is where he needs to like think about moving back down, at least to 135.
Well, I knew that was coming from y'all,
and I was prepared. 135.
And I was prepared for the answer. So here's my rebuttal. Also, the fact that not everybody is out there willing to take chances, Javi, to get a knockout or try to earn a knockout. And that's what's wrong with boxing and why it's not more exciting than it should be right now. We need you guys to start taking more chances, trying to get more knockouts.
Was up there. You weren't asking Floyd to take no chances, Rob. It's a double standard with you.
And I wasn't asking for your 2 cents on that either.
But you're going to get it. But
I mean, he's right. Rob is absolutely right with the current state of things. It is less and less great matchups. And we were discussing the other day, guys, remember in our chat, when we were talking about women's boxing and, you know, how it's arrived.
That's a good segue back, Shakura.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Let's go back to that.
I was about to say that
part of the reason is because of what you just said. Like, the women have been doing a phenomenal job matching themselves up and fighting the best, while at the same time we're seeing less of the men doing so. So it kind of all helps the momentum for the ladies to start getting noticed more. Now, I did hear some people rumbling about how, you know, it's only 4 women being matched up good and the rest of these women aren't, and it's less women fighters than they are men fighters. And I'm like, but okay, so they more men fighters, but we getting way less matchups. So you still just prove the point of what people been saying about we need to see more males matched up with top competition. What can we do about it as fans? What?
You got to stop tuning in to the.
They know we won't. They know the matchup specifically, and we still ain't getting that shit. So now what?
I don't know. They must still be getting some views because, I mean, the money, you got to hit them where it counts. That's it. I mean, the views is all that matters.
So this bout this weekend was at Madison Square Garden. And I'm talking the Serrano fight now. We can go into Serrano. We already
for sure
touched on Baumgardner.
Yeah.
But Serrano was the main event. And she's back at Madison Square Garden on Saturday night. Navarete and them boys took a back seat. They were on Friday night.
Hey, get your ass to the back.
Right. So I actually in the Serrano and Baumgardner both performed well. Serrano in particular here, though, you know, she's a hell of a man. Every time she's in the ring, it's a hell of a fight. A hell of a fight. She pours her heart out. She leaves it all in the ring there. She's a true definition of a fighter. That's what you want to see. You want to see a fighter like that because when she comes in the ring, she leaves it all in there, win or lose. And she lost to Katie Taylor. She came back and she won this fight. And you know what, guys? It was a great bout. It was another great bout.
Definitely
I
was. And the thing about it too is like, and I might be wrong, but I feel like a lot of people appreciate from a man that is like, there's not a lot of blah blah blah, a lot of ratchet stuff, a lot of like, all this gangsta out of character moves pre-fights. And regardless, this sport is brutal, and yeah, we all like a shit talk here and there, but I feel like it, and just to make a comparison with Clarissa, which I love Clarissa, but I feel like there's a few times when Clarissa kinda, it's been her worst enemy when she brought certain antics that people are. First of all, let's be honest here. This sport is biased towards men. It's always gonna favor men more than women. So people are gonna look at women a certain way and expecting a lot more than from men. And I feel like Amanda is becoming this force because she's a little more, less, a little more humble when it comes to like the pre-fight antics. And a lot of people can, and then she comes and bangs, she gives you a hell of a fight. Now this past fight, I felt like she was not her usual best. She was not sharp. She got hit a lot more than she should. She got hit with punches that is like, damn, how you getting hit with those punches coming in or coming out? And
That
I feel like
overhand right. That overhand right you talking about?
yeah,
Serrano, it was bad.
Amanda had a hell of a boxing style, a beautiful boxing for her to be trading blow by blow, standing toe to toe with her. I felt like she kind of like, threw her boxing out the window, and she started like fighting with her with her grit and be like, okay, let's bang now. Like it wasn't really a boxing fight; it was more like a fight. And she got put into.
I
Yeah,
agree, but I think it's working. I think it's working well. I think it's going to make her more money. You know what I mean? I think it sucks she has to resort to that, but I think she's doing this intentionally for sure, and she is making a big splash. I mean, if I'm looking at the women's division right now, Serrano is the most appealing, right? She's more entertaining. She has more weight division wins. She already has the slightly bigger stature, but that was going to be my question to you three is like, who's the top three right now? Who's the faces of women's boxing? We're not talking men.
Well, that's subjective, though. That's subjective, but I would go with
for sure. But
yeah, I will go with Clarissa, Serrano, and now Alicia.
So
I think that third spot can be switched out for maybe a couple different ones, but I completely agree.
I like Clarissa, I like Katie Taylor, and then I like Serrano.
Okay.
Those are my three.
That was another one that I was thinking of when he said his last one here. Sakura?
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard, right? I mean, it's good that it's hard because the women's division.
It's not that hard. It's really not. It's not. I mean, you got to look at who's filling up these arenas, who's filling up at Madison. It's got to be Taylor and Serrano off rip. I mean, and now it's going to Ireland, baby. Like, it has
I can't. I got goosebumps. You just said that.
And the power. The eye candy and the power goes, that's Baumgardner. I don't think it's that hard. Clarissa.
You got Clarissa off of it?
She pays bills, but Alicia's getting a little bit more attention than Shields does. I have to say that. And you know it's true because you told me yourself. You told me Saturday you were tuning in to see how Baumgardner was looking, but then when you started watching, you enjoyed the fight. So that's another sign, like, because the question you're asking is who's the face of it, not necessarily who's the best of it.
Yeah, I changed mine. Yeah, like I'm taking Clarissa off of it too. Clarissa ain't on it no more. I'm changing my list.
I got you to change your mind.
Yeah.
Damn. Now, what you did to my boy, Sakura? What you did to my boy?
Now, Javi, I'm gonna weird y'all out, Javi, because I agree.
Are you sheep? Is that what we're calling you?
I agree. Hold up, Javi.
Is up there too with it, you know.
I agree with you right now, Javi, to what you said exactly to a T about Clarissa and what she's done in this sport. Look, guys, they are ladies, right? Clarissa reminds me of the ladies that you have to say, quit cursing, it's not ladylike, and then they curse you out for it. Okay.
That would be me.
she reminds me of that. Okay, we need y'all can bang, and that's what's very appealing to me with even Katie Taylor and Serrano is they come in, they don't talk a lot of mess like the men do. They make these fights happen, and they respect each other for it. You come in and you don't think it's gonna be bombs away. And then from opening bell, they just let it go. They let each other have it in there. And it's like, damn, I thought they were bitter enemies.
And that's why I think that it's that like the theory when Javi was saying, we know Serrano is a skillful boxer puncher. She's got power, but she also got some smooth boxing skill, lots of ring generalship. She don't have to stand there and bang with not nobody. And that's right. Katie Taylor. So it has to be all marketing and making sure that the fans get what they want when they come and see her, especially in her damn domain. You know what I'm saying? New York City. She gonna put on a show. She gonna make you remember her fights. And there's a little bit of that in all those women, I believe, because they are trying to make a mark and they are trying to prove points that their fights are just as entertaining. But I told y'all, okay? I've been telling y'all for a couple of years now, like, y'all, I've been seeing this on the, on different circuits that I've been on with these fights on lower levels where the women just steal the show, like they banging it out and being way more entertaining. And now it's proven to be true that what I was saying, Rob, it's been true. Even though at the time you were saying, oh, they're boring and oh, they need to wear thongs. Y'all remember that? Remember when he said that they need
Hey now, we got Ebony Banks. We got E-Bang Banks, okay? She making it. Hey, she up there too, damn it. I'm gonna put her as the face of boxing. Women's boxing.
You wanted thongs. I think Baumgardner must have saw that show. So she wearing the thongs now under her, trunks or what have you, or skirts. I'm telling you right now that this is a trend. It doesn't mean that these women can't box because we have seen them doing more boxing skills previously. It's that they're trying to like secure the fans. Like they're trying to grow their fan base. And we're seeing a lot of that. Now, did those two women, Serrano and Baumgardner, think that their opponents also wanted to steal a moment like that? I don't think so. I don't think that they thought that their opponents was going to be that much to handle. And they ended up proving that, they were a lot to handle, which made it good for us fans. So there's really nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to consider this, though, too. And this is a great valid point right here, is you got to cut. You got to cut these women
He just complimented his point before he made it.
Yeah, that's what I do. You got to say it like this though. Period. These women are both coming off of the hardest fight of their whole career, and they coming right back in an undisputed title fight. And what you're saying is they didn't look as good in these fights. Well, that's what the men are scared of. That's why they're not taking these heavy fights. That's not why they're not taking these harder fights, because that's what these men are scared of. They're scared of not looking as great in every fight. They want to look great in every fight. Therefore, they're setting themselves up to win, and they're not taking these difficult, hard fights, and they're not fighting as often as these women are. So kudos to the ladies.
You saying they pee? That's basically what you saying.
I'm not going to say it.
I beat myself out.
I'm not going to say it because it's unladylike, but I'll spell it. Pussy. That's what she's calling.
That is what she was getting down to. Like, I'm like, well, so basically he's calling them that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But listen, if we get to see these kind of fights, we also have to respect the fact that I do think it's a lot easier for the females to make these matchups with each other in negotiations than it is for the men. Because shoot, they looking at a paycheck and they ain't been getting paid shit. And now they looking at a check and they like, did they just say almost a $250,000, $500,000? And sign me up. Get the bitch whatever she want. Like,
so
like
Sakura,
it's easier to make a fight with females than it is like big fights with females for this reason. Like, they're not used to seeing anything close to that type of money. So
I agree. It can get better. I think now is the time to change stuff, right? We're equal, right? Men and women.
Yeah.
Give them their third minute. Let's make it happen.
Okay.
I think that's going to set the sport up. I mean, you look at some of those rounds which were brutal and very entertaining, could only be extrapolated and made even better. I mean, we might have got even better historic rounds out of, the classic matches that we've had with Serrano and just their last couple. Let's add that third minute. Let's give the ladies more to work with.
Third minute, but I really want to see the 12. Like, if it's a championship fight, I at least want to see a 12 rounder.
Both.
And then at least start with one of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I think 12 rounds, like, we're gonna find out who got the better stamina today.
I agree.
At least had that,
Yeah. I think both need to happen. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably see a lot more stoppage and knockouts if we get 3 minutes. Even though that's probably less realistic, I don't think that's going to happen. But 12 rounds can definitely do it. Some of them look like they can go 15.
Yeah, it's so sad that people, like, they are holding them back with this 2-minute situation because when they're in the gym, they're fighting men, they're sparring with men most of the time, and they're doing 3 minutes in the sparring. So it's really ridiculous at this point. Like, most women, they're in gyms full of men. There ain't even another female in the same gym with them. Ain't a female in the same geographic radius of 100 miles or more, if not more. So it's like they don't have no choice but to spar men. So if you do have a 3-minute round and they're not sparring men anymore, they're in there with other women, it's safer than what it is with the sparring. So
I don't really think it's more dangerous. I mean, just give them the extra minute. I mean, and even if it is more dangerous, why? If we're all saying life's equal, let them risk their life if they want to do that. I mean, men die all the time. I'm not saying we should promote that.
That's actually what you said.
But you know what I mean. I'm not telling them to do it. I'm telling them if they want to, they should be able to. Men go out there every day. I think women should have the right to at least go out and try.
I mean, but Mancini is the one that told me. I didn't know this, but it's actually more fighters that have deaths now than it was when they were 15 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Like that's an actual statistic. Yeah. That's real. I mean, so let's really reimagine what's other problems that are causing these injuries besides just fighting longer rounds or fighting more rounds. Like, it's got to be something else to it. Yeah. If we had less deaths when it was 15 rounds.
I want to also know how much of that is related to drug use and how those two go hand in hand.
Well,
don't go there, Lucas.
Because everybody's on it, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to.
We gotta put in all the different scenarios into that study. Yeah.
So much going on. Rob, I know we were trying to make it as close to the hour as possible. Sorry, we did go a little bit over, but I am going to turn it over to you for any rapid fire. What you got?
Sakura made a point I'm going to comment on when she said about the negotiations. So I have to disagree with you a little bit on that because we're getting shit like Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Tank Davis fight is being held up over a damn rematch clause. Okay, so it's not money there; it's rematch clause. You have the Spence and Terrence Crawford, who won't even talk to each other now, disputing over damn expense reports. Expense reports and rematch clauses are why these damn fights are not getting made. So why is it happening like that, guys? We're not even arguing over money anymore. Are these guys pussies?
I mean, those things do make up the money, though, Rob. Like literally in a rematch, you are making money. But also, if you're saying I'm gonna get paid after, I'm getting paid after all the expenses are paid, I need to know what them expenses are. Like, like that's still money. But I do have to say, with the Javante Tank Davis thing. What's pissing me off about it is you should have never lied to us. Both you and Garcia, you both told us that all of the damn, everything was checked off. They agreed on the fight. Now we're starting to get closer and closer to April, guys, and we do not have a guaranteed situation for this fight. And it's really reminded me of Spence versus Bud, getting closer and closer to that November date and nothing happening. So I'm about to be like if they hadn't have told me and told everybody that they had agreed upon the terms and had agreed upon the fight, I wouldn't be anticipating this being announced already. Now we're closer, and you're telling me you got rematch clause issues, you got network issues. You said this shit was taken care of. So now you're looking just as crazy as we was looking. Now we looking at you just as crazy as we looking at Bud and Spence.
Yeah, I mean these are big things. You know this wasn't all negotiated. I knew this wasn't signed on the dotted line. I could tell.
No, we knew it wasn't signed on the dotted line because you really can't do that till you get through with the fight you're presently going through. But don't lie and say that y'all agree on everything if you didn't.
Right. But
Lucas, is it
you have to give the whole rematch clause? I'm sorry, I'm kind of in Tank's favor on this because usually the way it works with most, A side is going to get that rematch clause. Sorry, B side, if you win, we get to fight again, and then you got to prove that you're the champion. That's basically how it's going to have to be. And in this case, it's not any different. I mean, yeah, Ryan Garcia is closer to the A side, but he's still the B side. I'm sorry, but just take it. Let's make the fight. Just do it.
Lucas. Like, if the fight is good enough, they're gonna have another fight any damn way.
And I understand you're giving away a lot. Yeah,
they're gonna want to make more money off of it.
I know they're gonna run it back again with the same people, and I understand that may not be fair, but again, is the A side. You're the A side, right? I mean, that's the perks that it comes with, unfortunately.
Lucas,
by the way, I'm this A side, B side stuff too. I don't even.
But Lucas, is Oscar holding this one up for his boy again?
I mean, why not? I mean, you can't really say yes or no.
No, I'm saying it. There's issues with Ryan and Oscar in the past for this very same issue. Him not getting the fights Ryan wants him to get.
Listen, honestly, I think it's promoting on both sides. I don't think they're fighting. I don't think they're fighting anytime soon. They're going to milk the hell out of this. Garcia's going to go on and knock a couple more people out. Ryan Garcia is going to do somewhat similar. And they're just going to keep doing this. And Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather are asked to death. Like, that's what's going to happen.
I don't think Tank want to be in the game like that. Like, I don't think he want to be boxing like long term like that.
That's like, 3 fights, I mean, at least. But they're going to try to.
I'm not seeing him want to be in a long, drawn out career. I don't.
Tank already said
at the same time, for me, it's kind of stupid for them to be. Well, first of all, allegedly, that's the reason. Okay, because I don't have way to believe.
I don't know.
I don't have way to believe what they be telling us sometimes is the reason why a fight is stalling. Like, then when you start hearing about like what's really going on, it don't nothing like what the hell they told us.
Oh yeah, the business is the side of the story changed depending on which side of the business you are on. That's for sure.
You are absolutely right, Shakura. They said the real issue is that Tank had to cut his fingernails lower than what he wanted him to be cut. So he don't agree to fight.
Well, did they at least decide on what size the gloves are gonna be?
I don't think any of that.
Because if I'm fighting Tank, damn it, I'm gonna need some thick gloves because that boy got some fire in them gloves. Like them fists is serious. Like I need some more padding in there for real.
Javi, what's your take on this?
And not Everlast. Apparently, they split open.
I feel like this is the bullshit. This is why sometimes I don't get hyped when there's like an announcement. Oh, this fight is coming soon. Until even when it's on paper, there's a lot of things that could happen. But I feel like, one side says that they won the fight. The other one says that they wanted to. They say they're willing to negotiate. But this is when, they have to put their mouth and to keep their word. So if they're willing to negotiate, this shouldn't be a situation now. The whole rematch clause, it looks like it's coming from Tank's side. Like they're not willing to proceed unless they have a rematch clause. Now, you are here, being the guy that's known for power, the guy has the chance of knocking the other guy out. You shouldn't be sweating this rematch clause so much because you are the knockout artist. You know what I'm saying? And your team and your network, your promoters making you look kind of bad because you asking for the rematch so bad. It's like you going in there, with this thought back on your mind saying, well, maybe if I lose, then I have the rematch right away. Now, for what I saw was like sometimes there was going to be no titles. So if there's no titles on the line, then why the hell you stressing that rematch? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's not about the rematch. It's about like control. It's about the A side, B side bullshit. And
or just be stalling for time too. Like we ain't really wanting to fight in April. So let me just say, no, we don't want the rematch clause right now. That'll buy us like another 2 months.
Yeah,
save it for May.
Yeah, like it could be like a stall tactic. But you did bring up a great point, Javi, which is that since this is at a catch weight, I remembered it at 144.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, 134. No, what is it? 136, I think.
136. Yeah.
Lose 4 pounds. Yeah. So 136. Well, and then like there ain't no titles. There's no belts on the line. So what do you care if there's a rematch or not? Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, you already made the fight basically like nothing anyway. It's not at a weight class. It's not. It's nowhere. Fighting for nothing. Like what?
Nothing. I mean, it's
already. Yeah, you might as well just forget it now. We don't care anymore. What's the point?
Damn,
yeah, I'm not excited until I the bell goes ding ding ding. That's when I'm like, okay, finally it's here. But until then, they the same people that are gonna trying to hype this fight up are the same ones that are, excuse my language, fucking it up.
Wow. Yeah.
Rob, what else you got?
Before
it's almost 10:30, so I ain't got nothing else.
Shout out to Richard Torres for another KO.
Yes.
Oh my God, that uppercut, so beautiful. I mean, I know he's still a prospect. He's slowly gaining a record, but I mean, it was really nice to see him. I mean, the guy was way bigger than him, so it's nice to see a shorter heavyweight just lay a big dude out. Like, I like that.
Shakur, was this the fight that started the ESPN telecast Friday?
Yeah, on ESPN part, yeah.
My daddy called me and had me in tears. He said, Rob, they flashed to the guy. He was sitting on the stool and they looked at him and said, do you want to continue? And he said, Rob. He looked up like, hell no.
He was looking at him like, shit, that was a lot.
He looked up like, hell no, don't send me out there again.
He probably thought he could do so much with this short heavyweight, looking like a throwback from the 70s, right? With his look he got right now. He probably thought he had it under control, and he first round KO, like just out.
Yeah, and shout out to Nico Ali Walsh.
Much improved for sure.
He's coming up there too.
Yeah.
I like the way they're bringing him up.
Yeah.
Definitely shout out to him. So maybe these guys will agree to fight each other one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how Nico's coming up. They're treating him right. Definitely not getting thrown to the wolves yet. He's being brought up at the right pace. You know.
Yeah.
Taking really good care.
You can tell he's been working very hard. I mean, you can
Yeah.
see a lot of improvement from his beginning, first 2 fights to what we seeing now. Like, wow. I was impressed.
Fighters like Torres, man, they are so entertaining to watch. You cringe when he finally hits that brick wall, but I hope he doesn't. I want to keep watching this guy fight. He's very entertaining.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right,
Yeah.
we got one more comment before we head out here. Torres' nickname is Kiki. A good friend has told me her brother used to train with him.
Kiki, okay.
All right.
Told me her brother used to
Kiki.
train with him. Okay. Well, that's true because he was on the Olympic team. My girlfriend, Christine Lopez, in the ring with Christine, she also had a lot to do with his training too, back in Colorado. So, and she says that he still comes in between his fights sometimes and just help out with the kids, give them some motivation, being a mentor and stuff. So, just an overall good guy from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. The kid definitely brings a whole fresh air to the heavyweights, especially here in America. He might not have the size, you know what I'm saying? Because the heavyweights nowadays are straight up giants.
Yeah,
He does have some pedigree. He puts in the work, and he looks like kind of like the package and still building up. I think Top Rank does a good thing with the fighters.
I think so
Building
too.
them up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like the way they do things, but I feel like they build fighters good. Guys, I have a question. I know we are out of time right now.
Right? They create attractions.
Yeah, definitely.
They
Guys, I have a question for you guys.
what they had, that little star power, whatever that is, they find a way to milk it.
Definitely, they'll find that sweet spot that makes a fighter, unique, and they explode it, and they know how to promote that.
Yeah.
But I have a question for y'all. What do you guys think about Berlanga shopping around for?
I knew that was coming. I thought you was gonna say the comment he made about Canelo. I'm sorry, I didn't know you meant that he was shopping around. But I'm gonna jump off, so I'm gonna say what I had to say first. But there was a comment going in there from Berlanga to some outlet talking about he feels like he deserves a shot at Canelo for where he's at in his career. Berlanga, you can kiss my ass. Good night, everybody. Good night.
I mean, that's all you gonna say. He can just kiss your ass. That's it.
My whole entire ass. Night, y'all.
When I posted this earlier tonight, guys, I mean, they are roasting him.
Yeah, because
on my page, I got like, well, what is it at now?
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody when he was
people going in on his ass.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Everybody kind of believed in Berlanga at first, and then he did hit that, invisible brick wall, and he just hasn't looked the same. And he hasn't looked the same because of competition and because of other things. But you're gonna say that you earned a Canelo fight, which there's people in here sweating and earning way more than you, dude. I mean, what makes you even think you're capable of that? One, and two,
anyways.
What makes you even think you have a fan base remotely close to even warrant a Canelo fight? Nobody's going to listen to you.
This kid, this is the reason why I say he can kiss my ass.
He's cashing out on his career. I think he reached a point where he's like, I'm not as good as maybe I thought I could be, and I'm going to get as much money as I can.
No, he's moving too fast. Okay, when he got that first level of clout, and it wasn't worldwide clout, it was ESPN clout. Okay, yes, ESPN rode you hard, my boy. Congratulations.
But that's your people. That's your people.
But they even said that you were a possible star in the making. They never said that you were a star. So why, after you get your first couple of ESPN fights, you out there buying diamond chains and Rolls Royces, hanging with Fat Joe in front of a Rolls Royce, being in concerts in New York City, and having them refer to you as the champ. The champ, my ass.
Okay. All I gotta say is I do feel like he has star power. I do feel like he has a star, like a future star, a quality about him. He has charisma and he has a style. You know, I don't think he doesn't. He got the look. I just don't like. He got to get in that gym and not be worried about the shit he already got. He already has those attributes. He don't have to work on that. Work on the things that people are, basically telling you need to work on. So, hopefully we'll see that in the near future, and give him a chance to like get with a different camp, a different training team, and let's see. I wouldn't have. I posted it, but I didn't think people was gonna go in like they going in on him. I mean, but right now he would get destroyed by Canelo, and I do believe what Lucas is saying, and that's that he is trying to cash in. And if he's not trying to cash in, then for me, I think he's just using Canelo as a name because it obviously is a buzz topic. It's got people talking, so it's a good name to use when you're trying to build up something. So I just feel like we should give him a little bit more time to cook in the oven.
Well, my opinion.
She said, don't quit on him yet.
If Berlanga, the only thing that you hope that you can do anything with Canelo, you can hold his spit bucket. How about that?
Wow. This is the thing with boxing. Like, the same people that were on the hype train is the same one throwing him to the side now.
Oh, wait, I gotta put it this way.
This is boxing 101.
I'm sorry, that's what he said. I gotta get Harvey.
I said, this is boxing 101 right here. The same people that were on the Berlanga hype train are the same one calling him a bum and throw him on the side now. Just throw him on the side. That's it. He ain't no star like they thought that he was.
Hey, that's boxing fans for you. Like, I'm sorry, that's U.S. boxing fans for you. They will throw you away.
Shut up, Lucas. Okay. Shut up, Lucas. And y'all, I'm over my time.
Give you a bucket.
He get mad now.
Yeah, and give you the bucket for other fighters to spit in. That's what our boxing fans do.
They love you and they hate you. It's okay, Rob.
That's right. Yeah.
We can't end on a better note than that. I'm sorry, Rob.
Look at Elvis, guys. Remember Elvis? I mean,
that's another one.
ESPN, they hyped this behind up, and then they was like, "Get on up out of here. We ain't paying you that." Then they dropped them. I mean, thankfully, other promoters were still interested, and I've seen him improve in some fights. But as soon as they realized that they was about to pay for something that really didn't have the value they thought, they hurry up and get rid of you then, which is what we just saw ESPN do to Berlanga.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair.
That's his own damn fault. Anyways, Lucas, go ahead.
Big bucket, really?
All right. I think that's going to end it for the night. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Check us out at Heavy Bag Boxing on all our social media. And also, let us know. Comment below. Do you think Berlanga is star power or not? Yeah, comment right on there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Night,